What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel, and today we've got some more Marvel's Avengers news. Now, Brian Wagner, game designer on Marvel's Avengers, wrote a few tweets out, and I do think they're very important to go through, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So someone obviously tweeted to Brian and said, roses are red, April is grey, but in a few weeks a roadmap will come our way. Did I get that right? Now that is a good poem, but Brian responded, since I continue to get roadmap when tweets, roadmap announcements are covered by our brand comms team. I don't have any info on when that might happen. My job is to keep planning and designing what is next, and have been hard at work doing that. And then he goes on to say, I also see the tweets about frustration over more Taskmaster villain sectors. I get it, and I agree we need more wider variety of villains. Part of what I'm doing right now is finding ways for us to create a quicker / more sustainable villain / enemy pipeline, which is fantastic because obviously we're sick and tired of facing the same people over and over again, and even though they're different games in style, obviously Brian working on Marvel Heroes, where at least it felt like, from what I've seen going back, they were pumping out a lot of heroes and villains often, right? Then he says, there is a lot of planning going on internally right now, some short-term, what is in 2.4 and 5, and medium-term planning this year, and prelim long-term planning past 2022. Now, obviously, people were a bit worried that, like, you know, maybe they're just going to can it in 2022. At least we know they've got plans for 2023. I do want to confess, though, guys, that doesn't guarantee 2023. Plans can change, things can happen, but the fact that they want to go into 2023 at least means that the lights aren't off yet, you know what I mean? But then he says, I know it may be hard to see / understand that since we focus on discussing plans once they are locked in. Now, planning isn't just picking what we want to do either. It's about figuring out how we make that content, what resources we need to make that content, and what the costs are to make that content, and how we can fund making that content. How many times have we heard content in this one? But no, in all seriousness, this is, you know, again, stuff that we really needed to see from developers in Marvel's Avengers. This is great stuff on the timeline. It really does help us understand, you know, the average Joe who doesn't really get how these things work. Myself included, I am another average Joe. The more economical we can be in building said content, the more content we can build. So it's not just what's next, but it's about setting us up to keep building content for the long term, which I think we all want to see happen. And then my good friend Struggler Bry tweets at Brian and says, hey Brian, I don't know if you can confirm it or not, but since 2.3 has a release date, are there any bug fixes tied specifically to the raid we can expect in it? Sonic barrier, loading incorrectly, etc. Brian says, yes, 2.3 will have potential fixes for most of these common raid issues. I say potential because we haven't had a lot of luck reproducing these issues internally, so we're taking our best stab at root causes. Now, as someone who played the raid earlier, and I tweeted a video of my Hulkbuster getting webbed down by the big spider boss, and Iron Man just kind of being in the fetal position in midair, and I also crashed like 3 times just attempting to do the raid. And by crash, I don't mean like disconnected. I just mean like the game just went weird. So it's a reload checkpoint, and then I actually did crash. So, yeah, I really hope that this patch definitely fixes some of that. But I am a bit confused how they're not able to replicate some of the more obvious bugs. Disconnects, I understand, because that's networking. But everything else, I really hope that, man, I really hope they find a way. You know what I mean? But that is that. So we've got this next. So this is great to read. Posts like this, in my opinion, are on par with or exceed some of the weekly dev updates. Brian says, I'm glad they help. However, I'm not an official communication channel for the game, so I need to be careful about what I cannot disclose. Any new info really needs to come from our official channels so that most people can see it. I'm just an idiot talking about process. Now, I understand what Brian's saying here, but I do believe that a lot of the times we actually get more information from individuals. Brian, Dan at one stage when he was working on with the Avengers team, Alex, etc. when he's on Discord. I actually tend to find that since I looked at Discord more often, I've been able to produce videos for you guys to get more information on the game than you would have done from the weekly blogs and stuff like that, which obviously that shouldn't be the case, and as Brian said, it should totally be on these weekly blogs, but these posts do help a lot, and they do help fill in the gaps. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the information from Brian Wagner, just talking a little bit about plans and how that works and what they're doing, etc, etc, which is obviously really important, and I'm really glad I was able to do this video, and I'm really glad Brian took the time to do this. Thank you all for watching. As you can tell, my voice is getting a little bit better, and I also have the weekly wrap-up later on tonight with Doomkiller HD and Slipshock. I don't believe Hyrule is going to be there, so if you want to go watch that, make sure to subscribe as well to Doomkiller HD to check that podcast out. I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.